everybody. Welcome to A Space for Grace. I am your host, Ashley Grace, and welcome back to another episode. I am so glad to be back with you all today. I missed you all last week. Last week was so busy. We welcomed baby Teddy, and it was such a blessing being able to be there for Caleb and Leia, and I was able to capture a lot of it on camera and for photos for them, and it was just such a blessing, and I was honored to be able to be there with them. But I was on vacation last week, and I thought I was going to be able to relax a little bit, but I just stayed busy, did a lot of chores, and time got away from me, and I decided that a rest day was needed, and so I decided to take the week off of recording, and here we are. So this week is going to be a little bit different. I just wanted to talk to you all about some of the meanings behind some of the tattoos that I have. And I know I mentioned this in the last podcast episode that I had with Mel. I talked about my Mannaseh tattoo, and I mentioned that I would talk about it one day, and I figured, why not now? So we'll get into that, but first we'll do our prayer requests. I do have a praise. Obviously, baby Teddy is here. That is a praise. He made it to his due date. And he is happy and healthy, and I just put their names together. Caleb and Leia are good. Leia is such a good mom, and Caleb is really amazing for her, and they're such good parents. I'm so proud of them, and they have welcomed me into their family like no other, so it's just a blessing. But I just want to continue to pray for them, because welcoming a newborn into the family is not the easiest thing. There's a lot of change for them, and I just want to pray that they're able to get settled and be able to spend the time with their baby boy that they prayed so hard for. So we want to pray for them. And then I have a sweet friend of mine, Amelia. She is helping me a lot lately. I will tell you all what she's helping me with one day, but it's kind of secret right now. But I am going to keep it to myself right now and to my close friends. But her and her husband are going through the journey of starting a family, and I know that it's not the easiest process to do that, and I just want to pray for them that they understand that God's timing is the right timing, and that they will feel God's love no matter what time that timing is for them. So I want to pray for them for that. And then also I just want to tell you all that if there is any prayer requests that you all have, please feel free to shoot me a message, DM me. My inbox is always open for prayer requests. I was doing this. I haven't done it recently, but I will definitely do it this Friday. On my Instagram stories, I usually post a what can I pray for you for, like how can I pray for you box, and I would love for you all to respond for those so that I know what I can pray for you all for. And that would be amazing. But my inbox is always open. You can always comment down below. If you have an unspoken prayer request, we'll still keep you in our prayers and our thoughts. But I wanted to open that up for you all as well. But let's go ahead and get into it. I wanted to share, I got 3 recent tattoos, and all of them mean so much to me. The first one I want to talk about is I got a little angel Evan calls it my little baby angel. It's actually a cherub. And, I went back and forth on if I wanted to get a cherub or just angel wings. But the reason I got a cherub is because my grandmother used to collect cherubs. And there was no better thing I could think of to put on my body to remember her by than a cherub. So I know that she's my little angel in the sky, and that woman was my best friend growing up, and she passed away when I was about in 3rd grade, I think. And gosh, it's like it was yesterday. Like, she was just such a godly woman. And I hope to be half the woman she was. And she was just my inspiration growing up, and I will never forget that. And I want to get her signature put on it as well, but I couldn't find something she signed in the time frame that I got it. So she has written me letters of things that she left for me, and I cherish those so much, and I have them tucked away for safekeepings. But that is my cherub tattoo, and I will post a picture here on the screen. If you're just listening to the podcast, I highly recommend going over to YouTube, and I'll also post pictures on Instagram as well. So if you just want to listen to the podcast and just go over to Instagram, take a look at them, that is more than okay. But just a reminder for those who do listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple, there is a YouTube version of this that does have the video as well. But my second tattoo that I got is on my forearm, and it's a cross. And I just noticed yesterday that it's in the perfect spot for whenever I bench in the gym, that I see it every time I bench or press or anything like that. And I realized last night that it's a reminder of when things get hard, to remember that Jesus died on the cross for my sins. And that's exactly why I got the cross tattoo, because everybody needs a reminder that God's always with you. And I used to wear a cross necklace around my neck, and it would always tarnish, or, the cheap jewelry that changes your neck green or something. But I don't know, having this on my arm now, I remember benching yesterday, and every time I would press, I saw a glimpse of it. And I was like, no matter the pain that I'm in, no matter the hurt, God's got me. Jesus died for my sins. And Jesus went through so much pain to die for my sins. The suffering that he dealt with on the cross is unimaginable to the pain that I deal with in the gym. So it's a nice little daily reminder that no matter how hard life gets, no matter how much pain I'm in, no matter what I'm going through, God is standing there with open arms waiting for me to come home. No matter how far I want to run, no matter how far away I turn away from him, he's still going to be waiting for me to come back. And this past weekend, we had 3 different services at church. We always have 3 different services, but we had 3 different preachers speak. And it was such a powerful Sunday. And they all spoke kind of relatively similar messages, or at least I got relatively similar things out of them. And that was surrendering everything over to God. And God's always there waiting for you to surrender. And you don't always have to go to him. He comes to you too. And that's a big thing. Because you might be at your deepest, darkest place and you want to give up. And he sends a light. He sends that one thing to get you right back up again. And that's what this little cross reminds me. To get back up again, to keep on going. Don't give up. Keep on pushing. God's got you. And that's so incredibly important to me. Because there's so many times that I've ran so far away from God that I didn't want to keep going. But I did. And now more than ever, I'm seeing what that has gotten me. And it's gotten me so many blessings. And I tell my friends all the time that it's like my bouquet of blessings. My friends, they're my bouquet of blessings because each one of them is their own personality, their own blessing in itself. And they've brought something to me that I was lacking before. And that is the best feeling ever, to go through what I went through, to get out of it, to come back to Jesus with arms wide open, and him to welcome me back home, and him to bless me with what he's blessed me with now. So that's my cross. And the last one is on my wrist here. You can't see it from that far away, but it says Mannaseh. And I was introduced to Anna Golden almost a year ago. And when I was introduced to her, I was introduced to her music. And she had a church album release. And she has a song on there called Mannaseh. And I listened to the intro before I listened to the song. And I was already in tears. Because I was like, this is so going to be about me. I just know it. And I listened to the song, and I felt like she wrote it in my perspective. And I've always been that person that relates to song lyrics so well. I know a lot of people don't do that. Like, a lot of people just listen to music to listen to music, but I listen to music to relate. That helps me cope. It helps me get through the situations I'm going through. It helps me understand that I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through. There's other people who have went through what I went through, and that's why they wrote the songs. And so hearing Mannaseh, I really wanted to understand the story behind it. And so she actually told the story in her intro about how Joseph in Genesis, he went through a lot, and he still praised the Lord no matter what. And he had a son, his first son, and he named him Mannaseh. And Mannaseh means to forget all the pain of the past and all the pain of my father's house. And that just sits so heavy on me, because I just wanted to forget all the pain of the past. And I never knew if I would ever forget the pain of the past. And I can 100% say that even though I know I've had pain in the past, I know it was all worth it to get to where I am now. And it's a blessing to be able to realize that now. It's a blessing to be able to look back and realize, that's why I went through what I did. And that taught me this. And even more importantly, it's taught me to forgive. Because once you start healing, you understand that it wasn't really the person that you need to be mad at. You don't really need to be mad in general. You just need to understand that God had that person in your life for a season. Their season's over. God had that person in your life for a chapter. That chapter ended. Flip the page. New chapter begins. And I don't know about you, but I'm not one to reread books or reread chapters. And I don't like to read backwards and go back. And I like to just keep going forward to see what happens next. And so when you're healing, it's really easy to look in the rearview mirror. But it's even better when you start healing and you start feeling all the pain disappear. You start feeling happy again. You're forgetting why you were miserable in the first place. And that's how I was. I was miserable for so many different reasons, and I was making myself miserable because I was sitting and dwelling in the past instead of picking myself up and moving on to my next chapter. And so when I heard Mannaseh by Anna Golden, I was like, wow, I need to get my stuff together, and I need to do this right. And the night that I was introduced to her, I actually went up to her and I asked if she could pray with me. And let me tell you, she is the most genuine person I've ever met. She is so sweet. She reminds me a lot of myself just because she's goofy and silly, and I love her. And she just prayed over me, and it was so genuine, and I just felt the love of God through her. And I just knew that everything was going to be okay because I could feel God working on me. And that night, I realized that night I actually was going through a breakup. And I realized that that's the church. That's how I found my church, was through the person I was with. And previously, when I was in a relationship, I lost my church with the relationship, and I didn't want that to happen again. And so I told her, I said, I don't want to lose my church family. And so she put me in touch with Amanda at church, and Amanda is just an amazing woman, and she is a blessing in my life and a light to so many others. But she looked at me in the eye and she said, "You're not going to lose us." And I remember that clear as day. She was like, "Not this time. And I felt so welcomed into Calvary, and I have not stopped going since. And I'm so thankful for the family that it has brought me, and it brought me my crew, and I'm so thankful for that. And that's when I met Sarah a couple weeks later. More like a couple months later, now that I think about it. But I started to forget all the pain that I was dealing with. And then everybody started telling me, "You look so happy." And I'm like, I am. And I realized that God put me in a church home and gave me a church family and friends to love on me, to help me forget all of the pain of my past. And that has been the biggest blessing I could have ever been given in my life. And it truly has been a journey to get to where I am, but it has been the most beautiful journey. And I'm forever grateful to have been on the journey, to go through the pain that I went through, because I couldn't imagine not being where I am today. And I was not expecting to get emotional, but I just hope that one day somebody will be able to understand that there's a reason for your pain, and it's not just so that you can have a lesson to learn. Because mine was to understand the beauty of life, the beauty of friends, and the beauty of family. How to cherish the moments in all of those things. And also that God will put something in your life to help you forget whatever you are going through right now. He will help you get through, and you will forget all the pain that you're going through. You'll forget through all the hard times that you've had to deal with. You'll forget the struggles you had to go through to get to where you're at. You'll forget it all. And one day you'll look back and be like, wow, I would not have been able to get through that without God. And that's where I'm at. There's no way. There is absolutely no way I would have been able to get to where I am at right now without the love of God and the grace of God. And I am forever grateful for that. So that is pretty much all that I have for you all. I know this was pretty short. It's like 25 minutes, but I am going to add all the pictures in here for you all to see each of my tattoos. And I will see you all next week with a new episode. I don't know what it's going to be on yet, but we will figure it out together. And don't forget that my inbox is always open. If you need to talk, if you need a prayer request, I am forever grateful for each one of you all who have stuck with me through the very beginning. Our little community is growing each and every day, and I'm excited to see where our future goes. But yeah, I want to read The scripture, really quick, of where Manasseh comes from. And it is from Genesis 41:51. And it says, Joseph named his older son Manasseh, for he said, God has made me forget all my troubles and everyone in my father's family. So, that's where it came from. But the meaning is so much more important of the fact that it's to forget all the pain of the past. And it just is a constant reminder of you can get through anything with God. So, I hope you all have a good weekend. I hope you all have a good week next week. I will see you all Friday. And just remember that I love you and Jesus loves you too. Bye.